we're going to take a strong position on penal substitutionary atonement. We'll take a strong position on systemic racism. That's a cultural issue. But when it comes to murdering babies, I'm just not sure. It's difficult. There's a lot of moral calculus going on.
You've seen John Piper's article where he explained why he's not planning to vote for Trump or Biden. Now, I don't condemn somebody who chooses not to vote for Trump or Biden, but the argumentation in there was the poison of Trump's personality is comparable to the poison of Biden's personality and policies. He couches his position in a way that seems like he's agnostic, because he doesn't say, I'm going to tell you what to do. He says, this is just my reasoning. This is what I'm going to do. I'm certainly not telling you what to do. So he has this sort of like fluffiness around his argument. But then when you get to the heart of the argument, he says he'd be hurting his own moral witness. He'd be undermining his Christian witness by voting for Trump. And like when you make a statement like that, you realize, oh, okay, so he actually is taking a position. And this is a moral position that he's taking, and it would apply to anybody. So this is how people use it. They equivocate back and forth between the I can't know and but I do know on the things that they choose to. And the reason why, I mean, this is dishonest, but the reason why people do it is because it allows them to get away with not thinking about the things that they don't want to think. And that's one of the things that, Jacob, that you framed this really well. You said that the whole idea of moral relativism, it's just an excuse for not having to think, not having to take responsibility when you don't want to.
Yeah, it's a mechanism for excusing yourself from taking a position where it would be inconvenient or uncomfortable to do so.
It reminds me of in 2 Peter, he talks about willful ignorance. That's a category, a biblical category.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of Christians need to rediscover, is that it's possible to cultivate a mindset in yourself that intentionally looks away or shuts your mind off, stops focusing when you get to an issue where it's uncomfortable. The unbeliever does that, right? That the unbeliever can see true things about God in nature, but he shuts it down. He chooses not to see the full picture because he doesn't want to, because he hates it, right? Well, even after we're regenerate, we still have sin to wrestle with in our lives, and we still have the temptation to shut our minds down on certain topics where it would benefit us in some sinful way to not identify the truth about that topic. And in this case, too often, the sinful itch that's being scratched is the approval of men in wider society, in culture, or even in the church culture. It's inconvenient to say that it's a sin to vote Democrat in this culture. It would cost you a lot. And so if you could find a way to not have to give an answer on that, well, that would be really nice. It would scratch a lot of sinful itches, because you could at the same time avoid ticking off the culture, avoid ticking off a lot of people in your church, and still have the appearance of being conservative and strong-minded and strong-willed, because you're saying, yeah, there's things that we'll take a strong position on. We're going to take a strong position on penal substitutionary atonement. We'll take a strong position on systemic racism. That's a cultural issue. We'll take a strong position against systemic racism. But when it comes to murdering babies, I'm just not sure. It's difficult. There's a lot of moral calculus going on, and it's difficult to really say what the right answer is.
And is this really the moment in history that we want to expend our cultural capital to cash in our whatever credibility we have with the society, which, newsflash, you don't have any.